Hello, my name is Chaz Clemens, and I will be doing Team Andrew round 1 and 2 decisions that we made and kind of going over what we have done. We will be covering the overview of our first 2 rounds, some major decisions that we made, the strengths and weaknesses of our company and the decisions that we made, the financial ratios that represent everything that we have done, our competitive advantage thus far through the first 2 rounds, an interesting textbook management concept that I have found throughout this entire simulation, and the aha moment I had relatively early within the simulation. The first is the overview of our round 1. Our stock price looked very good. As we continued to grow, our profit was growing. We were leveraging because we didn't have much debt. We always kept our contribution margin relatively competitive, especially in the higher 30% of our production. Our plant utilization was good, though you can see our stock out and inventory carry wasn't weak, but you could tell it was started to affect us in the later rounds. Our customer buying criteria and awareness and accessibility were not very good, and my speculation is because it was so early into the round, and then our employee turnover rate was not where we wanted it to really be. Going into round 2, we definitely improved our employee turnover rate, but our employee productivity went down. Our buying criteria started going more towards what customers wanted, but our awareness and accessibility still weren't very good. We were still handling our stock price and profit as we were doing very well in the first 2 rounds, and our plant utilization was very strong at that moment. So our production was one of our stronger components. Some of the major decisions we decided to make was we did have a large investment in marketing that we found out through some of the practice rounds. We began increasing automation at a very significant rate to where we ultimately had it at the 9 and 10 levels of automation. And then one of our biggest regrets was that we sold off excess capacity in round 2, which later really affected us and challenged us in the long run. Some of the strengths that we had was our stock price, how we managed our equity. We constantly were going up in that department, not really leveraging a lot of debt, as you can tell through one of our strengths, but really just producing off what we currently had. And so we had a strong representation of profits based on our equity and our assets that we currently had. And then, as you saw from the plant utilization and stock out cost and all that, we definitely were controlling our production at a very strong rate. Some of the weaknesses we had, as you can see in our marketing, was our customer awareness and accessibility. We probably should have invested much more in the front end on marketing and then tailored it off as we kept going. We were making enough profit to do so. And then our biggest weakness, which killed us in the long run, was the reduction in capacity. That is why in the following round 3 that we had to get a $30 million emergency loan. That's why we never really picked up speed during the entire process, and we were always playing catch up because we didn't realize that selling so much capacity would affect us. We thought that our capacity would stay the same, but now looking back, that was really ridiculous that we would do so. So that really is one of the biggest decisions we made that really killed us. Looking at the financial ratios of round 1, we were getting a lot of profit per sale. So we were really managing our expenses and different charges that we had to our company very well. Our asset turnover was good. Our leverage was really good. We didn't have much debt to our name. And going with the return on sales, our return based on assets and equity were very strong. And again, we were controlling our expenses at a very good rate. Not much changed in round 2. As you see, the numbers are very similar to where they were round 1. However, this is when we sold a lot of our capacity, and you will see our challenges in the long run in doing so. Some of the competitive advantages, kind of going with everything I'm saying, we utilized our assets and equity very well, and that we were getting a high profit return on everything that we owned. We thought our competitive advantage would be increasing automation, but And I do believe there's some strength to that, but our strategy in doing so was not very good, strong in the long run and in the later runs. But as far as right now, our ability to increase automation in our production line was one of our competitive advantages at that moment. We had very low employee turnover by round 2. And then, as you can see in the later round, we had a high customer buying criteria, which means we were tailoring towards their need and tailoring towards the criteria that they would want to purchase our products. As you see, the managing concepts, and this one I find very interesting, is the Pooled Service Alliance, an alliance between organizations that combine resources for a relatively large number of members. The alliance leverages the resources for services. So the reason I said this is because, as you can tell, many companies had different strengths, whether it be in a traditional segment, whether it be in the low-end segment. We could have really found a strategy in pooling, our lower end product strategy and really taking control of someone else's lower end product in exchange for maybe giving them the performance market. And so I know a lot of companies that do this, and I feel like it is a very strong way to grow your business as you're helping others grow. Some of the aha moments I had was we should have kept our capacity in the long run. It really would have benefited us. And having large investments in marketing and R&D early would allow us to be on top in future rounds. So us really putting our money towards automation rather than capacity and marketing and research and development, I believe, is one of the biggest reasons that we didn't hit our full potential. So thank you very much.